4 shirts and 5 hats cost $88. This system's word problem is kind of unique because the first sentence is the first equation. The second sentence is the second equation. X stands for how much the shirts cost, and Y is how much the hats cost. So 4 shirts times the cost of those shirts, 5 hats times the cost of those hats is going to give us $88. And 2 shirts, 2 hats gives us $40. We could do substitution. We could get X by itself, divide by 2. All of these are even numbers, but I feel like that would be a lot of work. Instead, I am going to multiply the bottom equation by -2 so that I have 4x and -4x. So my original top equation, my new bottom equation is -4x plus -4y equals -80. We end up with y equals 8. Well, that was easy to solve that one. So my hats are $8. And I even helped you out and put the $sign in there so you don't have to worry about a label. For x, I'll use 2x plus 2y equals 40 and stick the 8 in there. 2 times 8 is 16. 40 minus 16 is 24. So my shirts are $12. Okay, and the word problem on the test is very, very similar to this. It's the same type of word problem. So the first sentence should give you the first equation. The second sentence should give you the second equation. If you want to attach your work to this, you can. It does not say that you have to. I'm only going to be looking for your work on the problems that specifically say, click the paper clip to attach your work. So if you don't see anything about click the paper clip to attach your work, you don't have to. Graph the system of linear inequalities and highlight the solution set using the button provided. Okay, this one I definitely wanted to go through with you. So our first line, both of these are already ready to graph. I'm going to click line A, that's this first one, y is greater than or equal to -3x minus 2. Move one of my dots to the y-intercept -2. Take my other dot and make my slope of -3. So down 3, right 1. Then I need to think about, does this line need to be dashed or solid? It needs to be solid. And on my paper, I would go ahead and sketch this and be like, okay, this one's kind of like this, and it needs to be shaded up. So I would kind of shade up on my paper just so I have that, because we can't shade on EdSite until we're done, which is a little bit frustrating. Okay, line B. This is a horizontal line at 2. So I drag one dot to 2, drag the other dot to make it a horizontal line. Does this one need to be dashed or solid? Dashed. So I've got this dashed line at 2, and less than would be shaded down. So then on my paper, I would say, okay, this part right here is the part that is double shaded. That's the part that I need to shade in EdSite. So take a look at that picture. Click the blue solution set. You can click any portion of this graph. It will only count this correct if you only click that left bottom portion of the X shape. So as you graph it on EdSite, this one is pretty easy just to graph on EdSite without showing any work on your paper, but I would sketch it on a piece of paper and do the shading on your paper so that you could then put the final shading answer into EdSite. Think of this as your rough draft and the stuff on EdSite as your final draft. Okay. This one's a good old multiple choice, and I would still kind of sketch this on my paper just because that's easier for me. My problem when I take multiple choice tests is that I find a way to like make my brain think that every single answer is correct somehow. It's a problem. So I would make myself a little graph. 2x plus 1. So I would start here, and a slope of 2 would be something like that. That one needs to be a solid line, and it needs to be shaded up. I'm going to grab my highlighter for shading up. That would be this part. Then 2x minus 5y is greater than or equal to 10. What do we need to do with this? We need to subtract 2x on both sides and then divide by negative 5. What happens when we divide by negative 5? Switches that symbol. So we have 2/5 x minus 2. So this one starts down here, up 2 over 5. So something kind of like that. Solid line. And this one I need to shade down. So my final solution area should be the left bottom part. And what I notice about all of these answers is the lines are the same. So they have correctly graphed the two lines for you. You just have to pick which is the correctly shaded area. So this one is the one that has the correct shading, that lower left portion of the X. So it is worth your time to do this work on your paper to see how that sign flips, and then think about which line, which direction is it shaded. So I would sketch it on your paper and then put it onto, or pick the graph that matches your paper. And that is it. Okay, I just went back to question number 7. I was just telling my class that the question that's like this on the test, I am going to remove. So your test is only going to be 9 questions, because in here, I think numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 were all solving systems. That's 5 problems. I'm going to get that down to just 4. So you'll have 3 of them that are solve the systems, 1 word problems. So that's 4 systems of equations that you will need to fully solve.